So, it's no secret of mine that I hate it when people render 30 frames per second footage in 60. And I hate it for a couple of reasons. Number one, my laptop that I'm using, it's pretty old. Like, so old, in fact, that it can't even play 60 frames per second footage right, as you can see right there. I'm playing back the intro portion of the Galgun video that I did a couple of days ago. I'm playing it in 60 frames per second, even though it's clearly 30. Well, just the intro part anyway. And as you can see, it's not even, like, even at 720p 60, it's struggling to keep up. And the problem gets worse when I flip it up to 1080, as you see here. So, in order for me to watch videos that are uploaded or rendered in 60 frames per second, I have to purposefully turn the quality setting down to like 480 or something. Granted, I rarely use this laptop, except for when I'm like on a trip or something, and even then, it's still a problem. And the other reason is because it can trick people into thinking that a game runs at 60 frames per second when it in fact may not, as I have just demonstrated. And it's for those reasons why I personally will always render my videos at the relevant frame rates. For example, if I record video of a game that runs in 30 frames per second, I will always render it at 30 frames per second. I see no reason to render it in 60 frames per second. Meanwhile, if I record video with my iPhone, which is capable of recording at 60 frames per second, I will always record it, render it, and upload it as such. And the third reason, and this varies from person to person, is that it simply increases the overall rendering time, file size, and upload and processing time. So I guess the point I want to make to YouTube content creators is that I personally would highly discourage you from, well, not highly, but I would just discourage you from rendering in higher frame rates than what your source video is. Just, well, because, like I said, one, it can cause people with older computers problems, and, two, it's misrepresentative of the game that you're trying to record, and three, it, increases disk size, upload time, and all that stuff I just said, so it can be more inconvenient on you. So, why do it? I mean, yeah, I know some people have their fancy 60 frames per second footage or effects that they like to overlay on top of their videos, but if the main focus of the video is a game that normally runs in 30 frames per second, what the hell's the point? Like, there's no point in doing it. Like, well. Anyway, I'll just see you guys in the next video. Bye. And I almost forgot to mention that in the iMovie for iOS settings, like, you know, in the settings app, and iMovie is the video editing app that I use to edit and upload my videos that I record on iPhone. Anyway, in there's a toggle that allows it to export in 60 frames per second, and under the in the description as for what it does, it says allows, well, I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but it says that it will only export in 60 frames per second if the majority of the if over 50% of the source footage that I use in the project is rendered in 60 frames per second to begin with. That's the rule that I use, basically. And I would encourage others to do the same. I wonder if that Magical Noirina video was rendered in 60 frames per second. Nah, I bet it was rendered in 30. Alright, bye.